Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a different one. I'm joined by Charlie over there in the corner. He is with me today, but he's actually got like a squeaky toy, so I might end up taking that away from him. But if you're hearing squeaking like that, that's him in the background. Okay guys, so today I'm actually going to be looking at a product that I'm quite interested. I actually have thought about buying this for a while. It's a holster, if you can't see from that glare. So I actually ended up buying this, if you haven't seen the video last week. Which is kind of my new toy, the FNX 45 from VFC. It's really cool, and actually I'm kind of going to be testing it today. I'm going to be doing some shorts just with it, and then hopefully if you guys want to see those, subscribe to the channel, put notifications on, and you should be able to go and see what this is like performing on the smart targets. But with the smart targets, I always want to do some kind of training. So not just kind of grabbing it and shooting. I do actually kind of like to draw it from a holster. And so when I was at Evike, when I bought it, I actually got this, which was like a Kydex holster for the FNX 45, and it's made by EMG, and it works, like it fits it, but it's just a little bit like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. And it's kind of very much rubbing on this lovely Kydex paint job that they've done for me. So actually I was talking about that in the video, and one of the people that watched it made a comment and said, hey, you should try out this holster because it's actually a really great holster. It locks onto the flashlight as opposed to locking onto the actual like replica, and means that you can run a whole load of different replicas in there, or real steel if that's what you're doing. But this is all airsoft YouTube. None of this is real. So I can tell it's going to get annoying, isn't it? Like, I know he's having a good time, so I feel bad taking it from him. But so this isn't the only pistol that I've had an issue with finding a holster for. The other one actually is this, which is the Glock 34. This is the Terran Tactical like modded one that I have. And I really like this thing, and kind of like, it's exactly what you want, is like a good holster for it to be practicing with it, because it's kind of like a race gun style, you know, like competition shooter. And so I really want to get a holster that's going to fit this. However, finding like a Glock 17 or 19 holster that would technically fit it, it's just too long. Like can't find one with an open end to it. I was going to think about like shaving something down. So I think that this thing should work. So I'm going to do an unboxing of this quickly. I'm going to attach it, I think, to the, where did I just put that holster? Oh, here. I'm going to attach it to the QLS plate fork so that I can kind of use it on my QLS system. And my main concern for this is just going to be how bulky it is, because it is big for sure. Obviously, they have to make it big in order to like fit as many replicas as possible. So what we'll do at the end as well is I'm going to go through each of the replicas I have behind and just see which is going to fit. This is a version that they do. So it's Blackhawk. It's called their Omnivore. And this one is for the TLR1 or TLR2 style flashlights. So apparently if you have a TLR1 or TLR2, I'm hoping it's all variants, because I have a TLR1 HL on this replica that I'm going to be testing it on. I think it's all TLR1s, because that's the information I found before ordering it. It should fit onto that flashlight. So it means that as long as I have that flashlight, which I really like, on any of my replicas, I can then use this holster. In theory, I think it's like 150 different, 150 different actual replicas, or sorry, firearms that it should be able to take. So the cost of this is about $60. So actually, compared to a lot of holsters, it's going to be a similar price point. Like a lot of the stuff like the Safariland, etc., it's going to be a lot less than that. And it definitely feels pretty good quality. Like this is kind of like a rubberized finish. You can get it in tan as well, where it's like a two-tone, like tan and black, which actually I think does look quite cool. But I think this actually is the one that's going to be, it's just going to be more useful in different environments. It doesn't have the exposed bottom, so I'm presuming that the 34 is going to fit in here with the length of it. But it does mean that I'm not going to be able to run a suppressor. So like with this 45 here, I'm not going to be able to run that suppressor. So that is something that we should kind of bear in mind. I don't know why they didn't necessarily just open that up, and I probably could do that with a Dremel, because it doesn't seem like that's that structurally, like, I mean, structurally maybe, but it's not kind of like it's going to get in the way of any of the, like, the actual the mechanisms, etc. This is the button that you're going to be pushing with your thumb. And normally I don't really like a button drawer. Like I just want something which is just friction so I can just pull it and go. Charlie? I like it just more kind of just on resistance. So we'll see how this is. This is a right-handed because I'm right-handed. It comes with these paddles for an on belt and then like a paddle to tuck into the waist, which is useful to have, but I never use them. I probably should end up kind of using them more if I am training, because it is quite good not just to always train with the tactical, like a belt on it. This is, it looks like a whole load of attachments. I think one of these you can attach to the actual Picatinny rail on the bottom, or the tack rail on the bottom here, and then it means that you can not run it without a flashlight. So we'll see if that's the case, because I think that is one of these ones here. So it does mean if I didn't want to run a flashlight on it, then I could do that. I know they do a version which doesn't do it for a flashlight, and that's how you attach it, is you kind of have like a little plug that goes on here, and then when it goes in, that's what locks in on the kind of rail, and then that's how you release it. So we'll see if I can attach one of those at the end and see what that is. But other than that, this is just packaging. It has the three like little areas here for the bolts, which I'm hoping is just going to be able to mean that I can put in that on that QLS. If I can't, then this is kind of a waste of money and something I'm not going to use, because I do QLS for everything. And it looks like you can remove this plate here, and then that can kind of like take the actual trigger off. But you can see here, there's like a little notch in there. And as I push it, it's just kind of pushing that release down. So maybe let's try it with my 45, because that has got this TLR1 HL on there. This is where it could be the shortest video ever, because if it doesn't take the TLR1 HL, then it's pointless and there is no point in me continuing the video. So, okay, so it locks in. So that's in there. Is a little bit of movement, but actually, generally, it's not bad. It looks fairly cool. It's definitely bulkier than like some of my other Glock, like this one, for instance. Like that's the one that I run for my 45. So it's a lot like the paddle is, I mean, it's not that much bigger, to be honest. If you look at them together, like this one's kind of wider, but it's kind of like, this is a thinner kind of piece here. So it's a little bit bulkier. That is going to be the push, which actually is pretty good. Like when I'm pushing that down force-wise, it kind of springs off. So it fits that, which is great. Let's put this away because we're not going to be looking at that. What is kind of... I'm going to take this one away. You can chew on the other one, Charlie, okay? Right. You can chew on that one. There you go. No, not on my finger. Ow, ow. He's teething at the moment, so it's like non-stop of just my hands getting bitten, which is fine most of the time. LaCroix sponsorship? No, they're not sponsoring me, but if they want to sell me free waters, they can. In fact, I like the Spindrift ones a bit more. Bit off topic, but... okay, so this, I think, is going to work really well. What is going to be cool, as I said, is like I love being able to switch between my QLS like plates, because I just have a lot of different holsters that I can just put onto the base that I'll show you at the end. But being like, oh, I kind of want to run something with a flashlight. Some of my like holsters have flashlight zones in them. Some of them don't. Some of them have a specific flashlight, so you can only run, like, for instance, I don't actually have one for this, but this is a Vitar 2. I really like this one as well. But I'm going to have to take that off and put the TLR1 HL on there. In fact, let's do that now. I almost just pulled it off without doing my thumb. Like the thumb positioning, I think they have a couple of different versions of this that I can put on here. But actually the thumb positioning is very nice and close to the replica. You can see the gap there is not much. So my hand would naturally just be in that position, I think, when I'm doing it. And what is nice as well is it's not going to be locking onto the slide. Like there's a gap all around the slide of the replica. So I won't get that like rubbing that I've got if I'm using it on a normal pistol. Okay, so let's take this guy off and let's put it on a couple of different replicas, and then I'm going to try and attach it to that QLS plate afterwards. Okay, so here's this one. Let's see how this looks. This actually looks pretty cool. I mean, this one is a lot bulkier than the 45, the pistol. Like you can see here, I've got an RMR plate coming for this, so it's going to work. So this is a big pistol like this. Like it's, as in it does feel very heavy, or not heavy, chunky, someone said in one of the comments, and I was like, that's actually a very good way to describe it. This should go in, and that sits a lot like higher up and more pronounced than the other one. And it's probably a little bit more movement there. Maybe it just might be the weight on it, but it works, and I can kind of just do the push down. Like what I would say here though, actually, is the gap there for the thumb is a lot, and it might just be because of this area of the pistol as well. It's a lot more awkward to push that. Let's see if they have an extended. This is quite weird as well. It's like a sandwich bag. Like in the US, I would get this, and like I've literally got these in my drawer, I think, for my kids' lunches. Yeah, so see here, that is the different extender plates I think that you can put on this. So what I might do is actually just make it higher. Let me just see. Do I need to get like a... Looks like there's almost a space for grub screws to go in there. Let's have a look on this. I think for $60 though, guys, this is going to be pretty good. So it looks like we got the smallest version on there right now. Oh, I think these just go over the top. So I've got two of these. We'll use my special one Tigris. In fact, let's just take this guy off, and then we'll use this today and just see how it does. I haven't really tried this properly out yet. I've just kind of used these magnets. So, right, magnets, stay there, perfect. So with this, let's see, because I don't really want to put this on and then, is that the right way? No, that's the right way. So you can see here, that literally will just slide on top, which is kind of cool. And then it will looks like it will just bolt in. So that one's a lot better. Like if that's locked in, that's a lot better. However, if I've got this on a smaller pistol, is that going to be too high? Because that's the problem maybe, is it's just going to be between the like sizes of pistols. Is that going to be too high to do? See, that does feel kind of annoying to have that there. Probably need to test it when we put it on the that piece. But just knocked those over. I think that maybe we go for the middle ground. The wrong way. That's the right way there. Like, that's better. You get very good at undoing and putting on this TLR1 HL. This is a great flashlight. The only thing I would love is if this one, and you can get the TLR2, which I might end up getting. The only thing is you don't get a laser, and I could love a laser on this, because I do love, if I'm playing indoors and I've got a flashlight, just having a laser, just where I just don't have to think. Yes, it's good. Obviously, the red dot, I'll always kind of like acquire the target with that. That's fine. Let's go with this medium one, and we'll kind of see if we like it. And then if we need to later on, maybe I'll upgrade to a bigger one. Oh. Grab this. So this is my new discovery that actually I talked about in the last video a little bit, but I actually do really like it. It's like a kind of like a Torx wrench, but it has the option with these to make it like a lot longer to still get that Torx kind of feeling on it. I'll do a separate video on this if I continue to like it, but I don't really want to do a video on it when I haven't fully tested it out. The one thing actually with one of these head attachments is it warped slightly. You know, when you like kind of twist it too hard and it almost, it twisted the actual head, which kind of makes it useless now, that piece. Just tighten it. I don't want to strip the screw again. I have a habit of doing that at the moment, stripping screws. Okay, so that's there. But look at this. So I'll just give you a quick overview. Like this can go here, and then I can use it in a long format. I can use it like this and have the Torx feature. I can flick this over here and do that. I can make it super long. So it's kind of like these three little sections, and that does have a little bit of wiggle in it, but it's fine. Or I can do that and then just do an extra leverage on there. So yeah, so I'm quite impressed with this thing. That was kind of like a big thing for me, was trying to find like something that was long but also had a turn to it. You know, you can get the regular hex and like Torx screws, which are that L shape, but it's always like trying to either get the length or the actual like force on the rotation is like really hard to like find. Sometimes it's all good. Okay, so I'm not sure what these pieces are for. I think that is going to be, what you can see here, there's 3 versions of this, and these almost look like they're different pieces that you could put on there. I probably should read the instructions if there is any. We'll leave that for now, but that's some attachments that come with it, which I haven't needed yet. But the only thing is it does have more wiggle, like that's going to move more. All right, let's try it on the 34, and then if there are any other pistols I'm thinking that you guys would want to see on here. This Vitar light is great, but actually I haven't found a holster that will work with that one. It looks like that's where it's going to rub, or it's going to clip on the edge of here. So you are going to get rubbing on there probably instead of on the pistol, which I will take all day long. Okay, so this is our 34, and I think this one's going to be the biggest like standout protrusive pistol. Actually, it's not. That one's not nearly as much as the 45. So that one fits. That one actually has got the least wiggle in it out of all of them. Maybe because the slide is just further down. Yeah, but that works really well. It is going to mean you have to kind of get it in straight. I'll do some draws with this, but it does mean here you need to go straight down. If you kind of like rock it in at an angle, it's not fully going in. Okay, so let's try. What other ones do you guys want to see? Is there any other pistols that we should try this thing with? Okay, P320. Let's try that. Get an idea of my pistol collection now and just how much stuff I have, which we will have collection videos coming shortly as well. It's just that's a lot of work, that one, to do. Okay. Right, let's move this down slightly. Oh. Okay, so you do have to sometimes move the actual location of this bar here. So that might be something where it's not as fast change. Like if those pistols all had that in a pretty good location. You can see here there's a bit of a gap there between the trigger guard and the actual flashlight, which actually, to be honest, on this it's not that bad because of my finger length. But that might be something you want to. Okay, that foot fits great. That one is like, again, there's a little bit of wiggle on it. That's perfect. What else do we have? Pit Viper. Sorry, Sand Viper. This isn't a Pit Viper. Probably the best looking pistol I've got, I would say. Kind of looks cool actually with that TLR1 HL on there as well. Okay, that one is going to be good as well. A little bit of movement. Again, easy draw. Weirdly, the FNX I think is going to be the hardest draw to like actually get that properly on. Okay, so that's the Pit Viper. Deagle doesn't have a rail. What about this M9? This is a WE SOF, M9A1 SOF. That worked great. Okay, again, that one's a wiggly one. So, I mean, you're probably looking at like, say you want to get like a holster set up for all of your replicas and you're happy to run a TLR1 or a TLR2 on there. You are looking potentially at spending $60 on the actual site, on the holster. And then this is probably like, you know, you can get a TLR1 for less, but you're spending like maybe $150 to $300, depending on which one you get. So this one light effectively then becomes your holster and then also a light for your replica. That is, look, I found that this fits. That's a weird one. So I was looking for a holster for this, which is the, and this isn't going to fit, unfortunately, no. That's going to be too short. I was looking for a holster for my Strike Industries P365, and this is built for the AAP01. It's one of the trigger lock, like, what do you call it, holsters. And weirdly, like the trigger setup on it is very similar to an AAP01. So you can actually run it like that, which is kind of cool. Again, I don't like these a lot because finding that gap when you're like re-indexing it is always just clunky for me. It's like I'll always not quite align it and then it goes in. That's not going to fit on there, unfortunately, because the rail's too short. This one is the Salient Arms 2011. But I think it's going to fit any Glock because it looks like, you know, we've put a 45 in there and we've put a 34. A 26, actually. No, 26 is you won't have, unless it's the new, I think, Gen 5 ones that they're coming out with. They won't have a rail underneath because it's a Gen 3, like old school. This thing, for some reason, is not wanting to sit on here. There we go. That was weird. So this basically is your like 2011 style high capper. That's going to fit great as well. So yeah, so I mean, guys, basically just on the build through on this, it's fitting everything. In the every kind of medium-sized pistol that the TLR1 will fit on, it's fitting. So that's my P320, Glock 34. And we'll leave it like that. Okay, so I'm going to keep this on the FNX for now, because this is really what we got this for. But it, like, if you're playing airsoft, which is what this channel is about, guys, so this is kind of what this obviously like applies to real steel in a lot of ways. But if you're playing airsoft and you're like, oh, I want to switch a pistol between games, it basically means that all you have to do is just take your flashlight, switch it to the other pistol, and even if you're using this outdoors and you're not using the flashlight, it's kind of good just to have it on there. And then you have that ability when you want it. And this basically just becomes your like holster attachment, which I think is really clever. I have to say, I think it's really, really clever. It's lightweight. Let's put this on here now and just make sure that this fits on there, because I think that could be a killer for me if that didn't. Okay, let's get this. And at which point, like this, I wouldn't probably use this FN holster, because with this one, I can't also put a light on it. You know, like, again, a lot of the time, if I'm using pistols outdoors, I don't need a light and I won't use it. But if you have it on there, it's not really a big downside. You know, like they don't weigh a ton. It's not making your gear that much more bulky just to have it on there. So I would always say, you know, it might be worth putting a pistol on there, even if you don't necessarily think you're going to use it. Okay, so that is our QLS. Let's make sure this lines up. Uh-oh. So we have an issue. That's not going to line up. That is not going to fit on there. So if you look here, I can run, look, the actual diameter and the size is too big. Like these holes, even though you'd say, look at those 3 holes, they're not actually lining up. This one does, and that's fine. These ones don't. Is there an adapter that's going to allow me to do it? That doesn't look like it's anything to do with this. That's not going to change the screw holes. So guys, all of that like build up and that excitement, effectively now, I don't know if I'm actually going to use this thing, which is really sad. Because that would have been really cool. I can probably find and 3D print an adapter plate to put on here to do it. But again, it's going to make it so that it's going to be sitting further away with an adapter plate, and it's just going to make it more and more bulky, I think. I'm just trying to think like what's a workaround here. Because these will screw directly in. That's not going to be deep enough. They provide some screws here. Those are good, but these aren't going to be deep enough either. So I've got and I can find some like deeper screws that are going to fit this, but it's not going to line up, and that's the big thing. Without that, this is really... I don't know why they wouldn't have done that. Like, why would they have not kind of like done some kind of alignment? I mean, I can look up now and just see like, is there a way to attach this? But that's really sad for me that out of the box, there isn't a way for me to attach this to, because they've got these attachments, and that obviously will go there. But again, that's not attaching on the bottom one. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. That's going there, or you've got different heights you could do it. Like even if there was just a little bit of overlap there, we could kind of go at an angle, but it's not, it's going to let me get 1 in and not 2. Because the gap's just too big. All right, guys, so unless I do that, will that work? Let me just grab a couple of screws and just see if we can like secure this. I'll be 1 second. Okay, so these will fit, and these are longer, I think. Yeah, will these fit through here? Yeah, they're fine. Okay, so if I do, I could try and put maybe some of the rubber. It's still not going to do it. So the only thing I'm thinking is I could do this, and it's going to put it at a weird angle and pretty far forward. But let's try it. Why not try it? Okay, it's too long. Guys, it was going so well, and now it's like fallen apart completely. Right, that's too long. So we need a slightly shorter one, maybe. I think this is going to be too short. That one's too long, that one's too short. This is meant not to happen, I think. So it's an M4 is the size. I'll just try it and see again. Thing is, I wear a drop leg holster as well. Okay, that's gonna work, but it's... I'm gonna loosen it off a little bit. I don't know. This is like just in the edge of being possible. Like you can see how it's like pushing it over. I have found like 3D print files that I can use, which will kind of do an adapter or will be a kind of a plate, a different version of a QLS, not for this specific thing. Like that is something that could work. But I think actually what I would do is put it the other way. Okay, let's try it out and just see, because I don't know if that's going to actually go into the QLS fork. And I wear my holster low, like this drop leg. Like I like it further down right here, which okay, it works. It works. I don't know if I would want it further forward or further back. I think actually this is better. I mean, it works, guys. It's okay. Like I can sit down with it. It's definitely bulkier, I would say, than a normal one. But with that thumb piece there, like I can pull that out quite easily. So guys, I think I'm gonna have to make this work. I'll do a little thread locking because the screws are in there, but they're not super tight. I'll see if I can like adjust it slightly and turn it. But it works. It's just kind of annoying that didn't fit on the usual QLS in a way that I would have liked. And I can remove that. Yeah, I can remove it. So yeah, so that's now what it looks like there. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. That's my review of the the Blackhawk Omnivore. I think it fits all pistols, which is great. I think, unfortunately, it doesn't fully go on the QLS. They do give you extra attachments, so you could do that if you wanted to. But I'll put a link down below to this holster so you can go and check that out if you want to. And hope you guys have a great day, wherever you are. Speak soon. Bye-bye.